Welcome to Learn at Work podcast, which is sponsored by Work, a journal of prevention, assessment, and rehabilitation. We're delighted to host this podcast that will bring together insightful conversations and thought-provoking discussions on topics that matter most in the realm of health, rehabilitation, work, prevention, and assessment. What can you expect from our podcast? We'll have expert interviews, individuals who have published in the journal, and we'll dive into conversations with leaders who have shared their valuable experience and expertise. You'll learn about different latest work trends, technology, and best practices. I'm Karen Jacobs, the founding editor of Work, and I'm the moderator of these podcasts.
Hello everybody. I want to start talking about myself. My name is Khader Almhdawi. First of all, I want to extend my gratitude and thanks for my dear colleague Karen Jacobs for inviting me for this event. I have been before with work. It's fun to work and have fun with work. My name is Khader Almhdawi. Originally, I had undergrad in occupational therapy in 2003 in a small country in the Middle East called Jordan. So afterward, I got the chance to work in my beloved home university, Jordan University of Science and Technology, because I was one of the top students, luckily. They generously funded my education to get my Master of Science in Colorado State University in 2006. I emphasized my courses toward the neurorehab. It was a post-professional program in Fort Collins, the lovely city of Fort Collins. Then I got back to my country to teach for 1 year because our program or occupational therapy in general was relatively new in the Middle East area in Jordan and in the entire MENA countries. So after teaching for 1 year with my master's, I got back to the States. I got multiple admissions, but eventually I chose to go to University of Minnesota because I was attracted by my advisor, Dr. Virgil Mathewit's work. He is and was very known for me as a very distinguished scholar in occupational therapy. He is the hand grip guy and the 9-hole big board, etc. So I did my PhD in Minnesota from 2007 to 2011. And my PhD project was one of the first in the world experimenting the task-oriented approach therapy for post-stroke upper extremity rehabilitation. We did something almost an RCT, but it was a crossover design. So I got patients in a very unique place in St. Paul. It was called Sister Kinney Rehabilitation Center, one of the top stroke rehabilitation centers in the States. There where I met one of my dear colleagues and got the opportunity to write in Randomsky, Catherine Latham book, Occupational Therapy for Physical Dysfunction, because I met Mary there and she asked me to write a chapter. I wrote a chapter in the textbook of Occupational Therapy Physical Dysfunctions about motor assessment. So I did a unique study, I would say, as I hear from other scholars about task-oriented therapy post-stroke. So then I got back to my country, to Jordan University of Science and Technology. Now, the biggest challenge in my life, in addition to my graduate work, was to do research independently. So I came back equipped with knowledge about RCT in stroke rehab and neurorehabilitation in general. Then I faced the reality that RCTs are very difficult. Although I did another 2 RCTs or 3 RCTs in my life afterward, but I moved to do longitudinal or retrospective or cross-sectional studies because of the logistics and the demand of being tenured, etc. So I got promoted to an associate professor and then to a professor, and I chaired the Department of Rehabilitation Sciences in my beloved institution, Jordan University of Science and Technology. Chaired the department, which is rehabilitation, including PT and speech audiology. And I established some of the graduate programs. I got the accreditation nationally and internationally, like the WOFED, the PT Congress or World CBT accreditation, graduate work, and I got a bunch of very nice, unique graduate students. With them, we did a variety of different studies. I kept working with the stroke, but like a cross-sectional type of studies. We targeted recovery post-stroke and predictors of recovery, emphasizing motor aspects, functional aspects, participation, and life characteristics like physical activity, sleep, in addition to cognition. We published a lot about stroke, and we are still publishing physical activity, cognition, etc. A lot of aspects, what predicts the characteristics or the recovery post-stroke in different aspects. And I created another line or two lines of research, the stress. Stress is my other strong interest, where I was successful to establish cross-sectional and experimental line of stress. I did a RCT about using smartphones. We did a program, Android program, to monitor and treat self-paced treatment of low back pain among employees. So this is one of my nice studies that I wanted to share. It's published in Clinical Rehabilitation, while the task-oriented one was published early in my career in Occupational Therapy International. And I did another RCT about, I created a disability-related course targeting knowledge and attitude of medical students toward individuals with disabilities and handicaps. We did an RCT comparing much sooner than just before 3-4 years before Corona. We did an experimental study about medical education about disability related knowledge and attitude, comparing traditional teaching with online teaching, and online teaching or distant teaching was relatively new in Jordan. It was not known at that time. So I had very nice results in these randomized controlled trials. My stress line also included what predicts the amount of stress. I mainly used a very nice type of outcome measure. It's called DAS. I always measured depression, anxiety, and stress as a main outcome measure, or a secondary for stroke or other deficits. So I would say that I'm doing stress studies regarding musculoskeletal, mental health, and occupational hazards, where I was lucky enough to meet Karen and publish in Work. Work is a very unique journal, because I see it like a rehabilitation for junior writers. They take your hand and help you to publish instead of critiquing you and making your life harder. They guide you step by step to make your paper very good. So I developed a lot with Karen and with Work, and I published a lot. Another influential point in my life is meeting Frankenstein, the original founder of Occupational Therapy International. We just published a very nice book. It's a very big milestone of mine. It's called Occupational Therapy in Stress Management with Gate. It's a very nice, and you can purchase it now. It's one of the few texts in occupational therapy in stress management where we have assessments, physiology of stress assessments, and different occupational therapy and remediation techniques tackling stress. It was like 2-3 years journey, and I'm proud about this book.
This is wonderful. You've got such a career, and I just want to do a shout out to how much work you have done and how you've contributed in so many areas of knowledge. I want you to continue, but I just want to thank you as you're speaking.
Thank you, Karen. You are, and have been one of my main motivators. So afterward, I also now, after being developed with the help of Frankenstein, Virgil Mathiewicz, and Karen Jacobs, those people who were very generous with me. Now I'm like a supervisor or mentor for junior researchers. Designing research now is a joy. It's one of my major hobbies. I met one of my nice advisors in Minnesota. Erica Stern was one of my friends. We were stressed, me and her, one time, and she said for me, yeah, we both are stressed because of grants and work. I was teaching and studying. But she said, I am on the right side of the pen. She was an instructor while I was a student. Now I'm on the right side of the pen. I was successful in tailoring or influencing the amount of stress. I believe that stress level should be influenced to the optimal level, where it's like salt. You cannot cook without salt, but overusing salt will jeopardize your meal, and having no salt will harm your meal as well. So you need to to titrate the amount of salt, which is stress in this case. I perceive stress as the tendon. If you have your tendons too tight, you will have active insufficiency of your movement. If you have it too slack, you will have passive insufficiency. So you need proper tension, eustress, I would say, that would guide your work. Now, at this stage, this is the royal stage of my research career, where I design for others and supervise their work. I don't go do the detailed work now. I'm doing the conceptual. I supervise professors in their starting their careers or the middle of their careers. I also do a lot of related research in different populations, healthy population, I would say. Like in Corona, it was like a Christmas for me in Corona, because the contextual changes, the amount of stress, immediate stress, and the online thing evoked a lot of stress, musculoskeletal and mental. It was like a Christmas because I published almost 8 publications related to physical activity, musculoskeletal stress, mental stress among physicians, nurses, professors, students, etc. among healthy. And I did also publish among individuals with visual impairments or stroke because they lost their medical care during Corona. So I think I have like 50, 60 publications. But I have a secret I want to share with all researchers. I have a cap for my career. I always like to balance between my leisure, self-care, and productivity. I learned OT very deep, okay? So I don't leave or consume all of my time dedicating for research. So I would say 50, 60 publications, 2 books are more than enough for me in order to enable me, myself, to enjoy my kids, my friends. So my life is 3/3. The first third, 8 a.m. till 3 or something, is for work. I don't work after 3. Most of the time I leave my laptop at my office. And then till 8 or 9 I dedicate the time for my kids, family. And then after 9 I always go with my friends. I have tons of hobbies and things I like to do for fun. I might talk about them later. But finally, I want to share with you 3 quotes I got from excellent mentors, if you don't mind, Karen.
That would be great. And I love how you have balance in your life. And we can talk about what other things you like, but please read those quotes. That would be great.
So you might underestimate the wisdom of my mentors because of these are written in my words, according to my memory. So they were much more fancy when they told me. The first one I had Konzak. His name is Konzak. He's a kinesiologist in Minnesota, University of Minnesota, in the Department of Kinesiology. His last name is Jargon Konzak. He told me, Khader, always take a bite that you can swallow, which means, like the definition of mental health, according to the WHO, is knowing your own abilities and limitations. So you don't stress yourself or take silly assignments. The quote is, always take a bite that you can swallow. So be realistic, which is translated in OT in just right challenge. If it's too silly, you will not work. If it's too heavy, you will not work. The second quote is from my beloved advisor, Dr. Virgil Mathewitz, who was recognized recently in one of the major American events, I think in the 80 American Occupational Therapy Association. He got an award. He said, Khader, it's not about being smart, it's about being consistent. So a secret that I always share, not rarely, I don't like reading. Reading tortures my brain. So I'm a selective reader. I learn by hearing. So when I read, I really go to the point. I work smarter than harder. According to another mentor who told me, work smarter than harder. So the paradigm shift in my life is I started working with deadlines, even for myself. I never broke a deadline after starting this. And another advisor told me that when you get your PhD, you get smarter in a thin area and dumber in the rest. However, I turned around that because of pragmatic reasoning. I love pragmatic reasoning. If I kept working in RCTs and stroke rehab, I wouldn't be in the same position that I am at today.
I love these quotes. They're great, and they reflect you as a researcher, scholar, committed to excellence, and I think a role model to all our listeners that you can work hard, but you can work in a way that allows you to have balance in your life. And I love that, you stop working at 3 o'clock, you spend time with your family, and then having time for friends as well as your family. So what sort of non-work activities do you enjoy as well?
Okay, I will share another thing that I love to organize my life. I'm so organized at work, relatively organized with family, flexible, so flexible with family, but bills and maintenance need some kind of organization. But I'm so loose in fun. My plan for fun is to have no plan. I am some spontaneous, so that relieves me. So what motivates me, if you are able to do something, why to waste your time and resources? Just do it. And you might fail 100 times, but whenever you succeed, you will forget the pain of attempts. Some people look from the exterior part of me and say that he is lucky, he got this and that. They don't know that several of my articles were submitted 12 times. 12 times. One, two. And the average is 3, 4 times. People, phobias are the main enemy for any researcher. They think that it's too difficult to do. You'll never know until you try. And now I'm doing the things in the smart way. I have a lot of collaborators. I just do the conceptual hard work and they enjoy my company. Now my fun things are, what motivates me are the motivators of the human behavior. First of all, the first one is I run from pain toward pleasure. I want money, I want recognition, I want family, good career. And then the ego and the super ego. Now I'm doing research because I love research, because it's the right thing to do. But initially I was about to be kicked out if I was not tenured. So like any another person, but I'm dragging things from the subconscious, from the self-defense mechanism, the maladaptive things to and I face my problems and continue with my life. I love to do agricultures, like I have a very nice garden. I do a lot of sophisticated things. I participate in sports, swimming and soccer, and I love to watch sport, although that my team was kicked out from the European tournament, Real Madrid, but it's fine. I have a lot of tools, whittling, carpentry. I'm so skillful. I can do whatever, electricity, etc. It's a joy of mine. I always work. When I screw things, I call the specialist. So I spend a lot of time with my tools, like drilling machines, a lot of things. I like barbecues also and cooking. I'm a very good chef. And I like technology. I can control my home in Jordan from my mobile, entire thing, the irrigation, the cameras, the gates, the AC, everything. And luckily, I got to teach assistive technology in OT in Kuwait. So I love technology, sports, tools, crafts, agriculture. And this is
Oh
about
my
me.
gosh. That's wonderful. Wonderful. I love hearing about your career and all of the things that you like to do. It has been a joy to have you on Learn at Work, and I want to thank you for being part of of the journal. I love that you shared that we really help authors, with their submissions. We pride ourselves on being author friendly. Thank you so much for being with us today. And everybody, our listeners, thank you for listening to Learn at Work. And we look forward to you submitting your manuscripts to our journal work. Have a great day, everyone.